back, or welcome to Instant Ramen. Instant Ramen is kind of like noodle time, but this time we kind of cook up our noodles real quick and interview our opponent for the upcoming game we have coming this weekend. This week it's Inter Miami, but first I am obviously OSG, and I've got Herman El Dynamico with me. What's up, Herman?
Always well, OSG. We're gonna do it your way here in Insta Ramen. No foreplay, straight to it, baby.
That's how we like it this time. New format this year, guys. New format. New format. Hey, but let's welcome from the Inter Miami podcast, Than. How you doing, Than?
Good, good. How are you?
A frustrating game last night. I guess you're lucky you were off a bye, so you get to come into this kind of mellow. We had us
No, 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 no,
one
no,
of
no, no, no. Inter Miami
all
fans are not mellow right now. We are not mellow. Trust me. We
right.
are. We are trying to put out the fire with a solo cup right now. So hell no.
Whew. Well, I guess we can just start with a high note then, right, Herman?
Yeah, no, Dan, I think a break is good, man. I mean, so let's talk about let's get it out in the open. What's the recent form for Inter Miami? Go into it. This is your opportunity to vent a little bit.
All right, listen. So if you ever been on a flight and you take off from the airport, and you have that fast catapult up straight into the air, and you're like, all right, cool, here we go. We're doing something. Here we go. And then all of a sudden you look to your left and your right, and you see the engines kind of burn out real quick, and then all of a sudden that nose starts pointing right back towards the airport where you started. That's where we're at right now. We are on a fast dive south. It has not been good. We have lost every game since our opening two wins against Montreal and Philadelphia, which in hindsight don't look too great right now. It's been pretty frustrating for us. I mean, I was personally at the game where we lost Gregory. Gregory was a linchpin in our entire plans for the season. So looking at that, seeing what's been going on with the team, we don't have any strikers. Campana just came back last week. Josef Martinez was overhyped coming into it. It's been frustrating. Like we talked about offline real quick. It's been very frustrating.
Well, go ahead and since you brought up the names, go ahead and tell us about Joseph Martinez. I guess there was a lot of hype, and we were kind of surprised he left Atlanta, but not surprised. But how's he worked out for you? Of course, you just mentioned your injury. How long is he out? Because I don't think I remember seeing that. And then is there something y'all could do to fix it? I know we do know y'all made a trade, but we'll ask you about that here in a little bit.
No, that's fine. The biggest fix that could have been for the Josef Martinez issue was re-signing Alejandro Pozuelo. Right now, we do not have a viable attacking midfielder that's going to be creative. We have a lot of midfielders and forwards that are tactically sound, and they're very good on their feet, but we need somebody who's going to be able to distribute that ball into the positions that the attackers are comfortable with so they can do their job. Right now, Josef hasn't been able to do his job, because, let's be honest, he came in probably thinking, hey, I'm Josef Martinez. I don't need to do too much. I am who I am, and I do what I do. But unfortunately, he's had some pretty terrible misses. He's had some sitters that he should have put away, like old Josef would have done so. So hopefully over the next couple of games, Leo Campana gets back on his feet after his recent injury, and Josef Martinez can kind of have a fire lit underneath his backside, so maybe he can get back into the form he was previously in.
Well, for me, wait a game before y'all get back into your groove or find your groove or anything like that. After you leave Houston, Campana and Martinez can have a good time. So you're obviously missing Gregor in the midfield. Remind me how long he's out, or is he due back soon? I didn't even catch the ding injury.
He's not. Yeah, so when it was at the NYCFC match, I saw him go down. I had a front row seat to that one, and he got carted off the field. He couldn't put any weight on it. He has a Lisfranc injury, so it's a most likely a full season injury, kind of just like Lisandro Martinez had for Manchester United a couple of days ago. So it's one of those things like you don't want to rush him back, but we need him back because we don't have a CDM up till our potential most recent signing, which we can talk about here in a little bit. But yeah, it hurts not having Gregory out there because he was the pit bull. He was the attack dog that's going to go out there and make things happen in the midfield. And Mota's doing the best he can with what he's got, but he's not that guy. He is a center attacking mid that's been slotted into the center defensive mid role. Uh, you know, don't hate the guy for doing everything he can, but he's not it right now.
That's got to be a big loss, a huge loss. So, I guess that the next question is, without incrementing yourself into the crime that was committed, tell us the robbery of Montreal and Kamal Harris and the 1.3 million y'all got from them. I don't know if you're missing Duke or y'all still needed Duke in your situation, but I'm sure it's just got to be a better move for y'all.
So I am torn, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, okay.
Bryce was just recently on our podcast. We love Bryce. My son is a huge fan of Bryce. This is the second player he's lost that was his favorite player since Lewis Morgan.
Oh.
So he is in absolute tears right now. I am excited because Kamal Miller is a fantastic player. He is from up in my neck of the woods in upstate New York. He graduated from Syracuse. They're pumping out great players right now. I'm excited to have another Syracuse player on the roster since we dealt Mo Adams away. He's quality. He's proven that he wants to go out and play. He's going to be a fresh addition to the back line with Sergey, Chris McVeigh, even Ame Mabika, who's still growing into his center back role, and Ryan Saylor. He's definitely going to bring some quality to our back line, which will help Drake Callender out greatly in front of goals. So, like I said, Ari Lassiter, he frustrated the hell out of me. He's good. All right, bye, Ari. You're good. 1.3 million for that. Okay, cool. No, absolutely. Bryce, as Phil put in his last press conference, he said there's some players that are just comfortable on the team, and they need to get used to being uncomfortable. And this was a sign that those two players were comfortable, and Bryce and Chris Henderson said adios. You're going on down the road. Here's a little bit of a punishment going to Montreal. And we'll take the money because we're lining up hopefully some big business here in the summer.
Well, I guess since you led into that question, is there any reality to it? And not obviously with just Messi, but with Busquets or just anybody, or is it just y'all gonna continue to overhaul Inter Miami?
Well, I have been of the mindset that I do not like that we're putting all of our eggs in the one basket. We could totally not be in the situation that we're in right now if we wouldn't be latching everything we had to this what if scenario.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that as a fan of the team, I'm 50-50. Yes, I would love to see Messi play. One of the greatest all time in the world, no matter if you like Barca or Argentina or whatever. He is one of the best players to ever play. If you want to see the draw that he would have to the US, go back and look at highlights of him playing for Argentina at Hard Rock Stadium just, I think, last year. The place was absolutely bumping, and the chants, like I got goosebumps right now thinking of it, and I'm not even a Messi guy. It was just Messi, Messi, Messi around the entire stadium. It was something like, it was absolutely wild. You don't see that level of hype, I would say, much outside of college football. Just the way it was, everybody was moving and bumping, and everybody was, swaying back and forth. It was phenomenal. In terms of the flip side of that coin, part of me doesn't want him to come. As a father of two, I know what this is going to do to my wallet when I have to go to a game. I know what I'm already paying. I know what I'm going to be paying. Will I pay? Yes, because I'm trying to give my son those experiences. I'm going to give my daughter, when she's older, those experiences. But at the same time, I'm not trying to shell out $600, $700 just to go to an Inter Miami match and watch them lose, hypothetically. I'm comfortable with my 3 right now. So it's one of those things. It's one of those things where, yes, it would be great. It'd be great for the league. It would put the league even further on the map. It would help Miami most likely get over the hump. I mean, again, you can't go wrong with a phenomenal player. Just look like Zlatan did to LA Galaxy, or look what Rooney did to DC. 2 phenomenal players. And they're not even in the same category as Messi, so you can only imagine what he would do. In terms of Sergio Busquets, if we get him because Messi comes, so be it. Not really sold on the guy. I'm not a huge Barca guy. I can appreciate what he's done across his career. He's one of the best to play the game in terms of his position, and his trophies they speak for themselves. But at the same time, we are very wary as the Inter Miami community of an aging superstar who promised to do one thing and then comes over and does another thing. Uh, a la Blaise Matuidi, a la Gonzalo in the first part of his stint with us. Um, oh my God, who am I forgetting? The center back from Stoke. I feel terrible about that because he was a United Academy guy. Shawcross, Ryan Shawcross, and Kieran Gibbs. So we're a little gun shy in the older European stars, but at the same time, we need help.
Go ahead, Armand.
Yeah, no, it's interesting hearing that perspective because in my mind, like, yeah, who wouldn't want that? But you're right, like the ticket prices are gonna go up. But you mentioned right now you paid 300 for 3 tickets, basically.
Two, because my boy, he gets the best seats when we try to go anywhere. I like to get him down close to the action and give him those experiences that he'll remember for a lifetime.
The reason
So
I'm asking is
I
because, like, damn, like we take it for granted here in Houston how affordable a freaking Dynamo ticket is, you know? Like you can sit in the
yeah
supporter section for $15, and if you really want those seats that you're talking about, you probably shell out like 100, but they come with unlimited food and drinks. So I mean, take it
okay.
for granted. We take it for granted here, you know, how affordable it is to go watch a game. But
Yeah, I will tell you. When I went to New York City, I paid for two. I paid $380. I'm gonna go see them play in Philly, and I think that was $330. And this is like front row
damn,
on the field.
damn.
Now when I'm going down to Miami to see them play Orlando, I'm sitting with the guys in the supporters section. So I'm only paying that $35.
Okay.
My kiddo's not coming with me. We're gonna have a great
Hell
time.
yeah.
But when it comes, like I said, to making memories, there's really not. Well, I guess there is, but like that doesn't bother me
Right,
because he's
right.
gonna remember that the rest of his life. So
Absolutely.
it is what it is.
Yeah, no doubt. And then, so I guess I'm OSG. He's on MLS all the time. Like every game, he's on top of MLS. I'll be honest. I don't watch Inter Miami. I only look at Dynamo games. You know. So aside from Jetlin, aside from Martinez, you know, I didn't know much about Inter Miami, but I do remember Pizarro. Like, where's he at? What position does he play? Is he not the creative guy you want him to be, or is he more of a striker? I know he's kind of in and out the
He
lineup, and now that Campana and Martinez are there, is he kind of the odd man out, or what's going on there?
he is an enigma. He you guys watch Ted Lasso?
I love that show.
What? Okay, so when Zava came to Richmond,
Mm-hmm.
that's the same kind of level we're getting from Pizarro right now. He does his own thing when he wants to do his thing, and then he sometimes busts it out and sometimes doesn't. He's one of those guys where you're kind of wondering what you're going to get out of him from time to time. Uh, the unfortunate thing is right now in the formation and the style we're trying to run, he's either being pinched inside or he's being stuck completely outside, and he doesn't have the freedom to roam the park like he had in years past. Um, there's some times where he makes phenomenal moves. Like he makes the moves and then he misses the pass. Sometimes he makes a terrible move and makes the pass, but no one's expecting him to make the move, so then they don't follow up with on the run. So it's one of those things that he needs somebody to be able to give him space. If there was another focal point in that midfield to stretch the field out like a Pozuelo was last year, he would be able to do more of his thing. But part of it too is he's just not living up to the hype that
Right.
when we originally had him, when we loaned him out, and then when we brought him back, he's just not. Now if Jay hears me say that, he's going to be extremely irritated with me because he's a Pizarro fanatic. He was stoked Pizarro was coming back. So and there are some diehards in the community that love him. I mean, he'll always have a special place in my heart. I saw the first ever team goal for Inter Miami in DC, and Pizarro was the one that hit it. So I can't hate the guy, but at the same time, he's just not it right now.
Well,
Yeah.
tell Jay
So.
this is on the internet, so it must be true. So,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So you touched on it a little bit, then let me ask you, before your star CDM got hurt, y'all probably ran like a 4-2-3-1. And now are y'all running a back three, or what's the style play that, or y'all still trying to figure out as the on the go type thing to incorporate both strikers now?
So right now we're still trying to figure it out. We are projected to be going towards a back three hypothetically with our most recent additions. But it's a weird type of back three where we have the wing backs patrolling where you would have where your wingers would mainly patrol,
Hmm.
and then our wingers are slightly tucked in the midfield,
Hmm.
and we're still trying to run two up top. It really feels like Phil is trying to do literally anything he can to stop the bleeding at this point. We're very fortunate that we gained a very solid left back in Franco Negri. He is an absolute player. He's the complete package. We've taken to calling him the Punisher because he looks like the Punisher. He comes out, he can crank him off his left foot from deep. He will go and give every inch of his body for the cause. Um, we just need DeAndre Yedlin to buy into that right now, which would help solidify some of that issue.
So Taylor, is he a midfielder or a center back?
Robbie Taylor is a primarily right mid, right wing,
Okay, so is he
but he
kind
can
of
also flip.
right? So he and Jetlin kind of, they're supposed to work together, or
Yeah. So you would see Yedlin take the ball. He'd sprint up the field, get the ball from the midfielder, and then he would either overlap with Taylor or vice versa. And one of them would cut into the box. The other one would actually cut towards the goalkeeper and look for the cross from the other player.
gotcha. And
Yep.
stop. All right, I'm gonna try my Italian here. Stefanelli, is he your playing 10 right now? Stefanelli, is he?
Stefanelli.
That's right. Is he
Yeah.
kind of like trying to act that's the 10 that you're missing, or what's going on there? Because when you play that formation, yes, you're wide, but then the middle of the field, especially if you're playing two strikers, you kind of have that big hole in the middle, and he has that responsibility, which in my opinion, this formation, that's a huge responsibility.
Yep. So Stefanelli is trying to play as the 10, and he's actually been doing fairly decent. He actually played as our striker a couple games ago when Josef was down and Leo was still not ready to come back. So he's, I would say he's only a couple weeks away from getting ready to really start doing what he's doing. There's been a little bit of an adjustment for him. You can see he's trying to hit the gears, but maybe it's slipping and he's not quite grasping the speed of the MLS yet. But he's been a welcome addition. He's an overall great guy. The clubhouse loves him. Fan base loves him. He's just like I said, he's real close to finding it, in my personal opinion, and he'll start doing big things for us hopefully.
So
And
with
then,
the
yeah, go ahead.
addition
I'm
of
sorry.
Kamal Harris, since we were talking about him earlier, you said you're kind of sticking with the back three. Is he going to replace Christoph, or is he going to side with Christoph, or is he going to be a CDM? What are you going to do with Harris?
uh, Kamal Miller is going to
Miller, sorry,
is
yeah.
most likely. It's all good. Kamal Miller is most likely going to replace Chris McVeigh. So it's going
Okay,
to be McVeigh, Sergey, and
Yedlin.
you could pretty much throw a dart at that point. Who else is going to be in there? Um, but yeah, Chris McVeigh is a great player for us, and I don't know. He is a workhorse. I think he played almost every minute for Inter Miami last year. He does what he needs to do day in, day out, but he's been getting exposed quite a few times this year, including that own goal up in New York City, which I had to cry through a tiny bit. So, uh, yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's the business of the game, right?
no doubt.
So you international plays coming up. Well, one great thing, calendar, has been a special player for y'all this year, even though it hasn't resulted in getting y'all victories. You know, I guess he just got told by a 14-year-old kid that he's going to be on the U.S. men's national team this week.
Yeah, so actually, I'm glad you guys brought that up because it
Oh
was with
no!
you guys where I said that we would never win a game with Drake Callender in goal last year, and we had him in on our podcast last year, and I ate crow and personally told him that I apologize because he has turned out to be an absolute beast. we talk weekly. He's a good guy. He lets me hear it every once in a while, like he should.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been an absolute phenomenal player. Last time I checked, and I don't have it up in front of me, but I think he led the league before this weekend in saves with 33. And he had a phenomenal save percentage. The weakest part of his game has been the distribution. He's only before this weekend was only sitting at I think 59% in terms of passing. But I mean, that's something he's working out with the coaching staff. I'm ecstatic that he's going to be going up to the U.S. men's national team against, you know, in a pivotal matchup against Mexico. I hope that he continues to grow into who we need. Unfortunately, I think if he continues to grow and the rate he's growing, we'll end up losing him. But we're gonna see. Will he be another Gabriel Slanina from Chicago? Maybe. Matt Turner, who went to Arsenal, maybe. But I'm just learning right now to slow down and appreciate what we have for while we have it.
I can, and OSG, you definitely will feel this. That's how I felt when we had Geoff Cameron, like back in the day. Just embrace what we have here before he's gone, because you can tell right off the bat that dude was quality.
Or at least in my case, you could tell. I couldn't tell that we had quality. I thought he was our fourth best keeper. So, but what? Shame on me on that one. So,
But
but yeah, and the cool thing for us, and I didn't mean to step on your toes
no,
there,
you're
talking
good.
about
You're good.
international play, is that we have so many kids getting called up. Not just our first team players, but we have so many kids getting called up for national team play. Eddie Ascona and Ian Boatwright just got called up for the Dominican Republic U20 national team. We had a 14-year-old kid get called up for a Croatian national team. I believe it was Croatian. David Ruiz got called up for the Honduran U20 national team. So our academy is starting to churn out those players that we were hoping for the longest time. And the future is bright if we can just hold on a couple more years so these kids get old enough to play. I mean, look at Benja Kremeshi. Benja Kremeshi is fighting right now between the U.S. and the Argentinian national team.
Hmm.
Javier Mascherano wanted him for the Argentinian national team.
Hmm.
And we just have a treasure trove of talent on the bench or in the academy. We just need to, like I said, hold on a couple more years till it all comes to fruition.
Do you have a MLS Next Pro team?
Yeah, Inter Miami CF2. It used to be Fort Lauderdale CF.
Gotcha. Yeah, because
And that's where Federico Higuain's coaching right now.
oh, okay, good deal. Because
I
that's
don't-
that's the way OSG and I look at this MLS Next Pro League. It's just an opportunity for those players you just mentioned to continue to grow in a professional environment.
Yeah, and it's fortunate that we can kind of interchange players between Inter Miami 2 and our squad. So like Benja will get some first team time, then he'll go down and play like literally 2 days later on with Inter Miami 2.
Damn.
Yeah, Schneider Borgelin, he's a very good up and coming striker. I think he's 6'4", 6'5". He looks like Peter Crouch in the box. He is one of those guys who you will love to root for because you know where he came from. You know where he could go. So just being able to watch the Inter Miami CF2 and then having for those guys down there, having it so readily accessible. There's not many folks that attend those games, so you get to go in for pennies on the dollar and go see the upcoming talent for the club and for around the league.
Right.
So it's definitely cool to see.
And my
Those are
last
always
question, then
the.
I'll let yeah,
Yeah,
I'll let
go ahead.
OSG go. Is talking about the U.S. national team, and Jetlin has been a big part of that. And when you look at your roster, that's the name that pops up. At least for me personally, are you happy with him so far, or
No,
Well, you
tell
heard
me,
it earlier.
not
tell
at
Just
me,
all.
who's
tell
the
me?
right or who's the right back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not happy with the play that Yedlin has brought to the table so far this season. He has not lived up to the billing, which we should have understood what we were getting when we signed it, but we saw the name, like you said, it pops off. You think of his time at Newcastle, at Seattle, at Galatasaray, and you think, okay, cool, we're gonna get this guy, but we're also not thinking about the mileage on those legs right
Right.
now. So Don't get me wrong. I don't hate him in any stretch of the imagination. I appreciate what he's done, what he's doing, but he consistently, you see him almost jogging at times. You see him almost giving up on the play, like he's almost checked out of what we have tried to build at Miami. And that's the frustrating thing. It's not like Gonzalo where you can see the passion was there. He's throwing his hands up in the air. He's calling for the ball, screaming for it. DeAndre's just kind of like, nah,
Chilling.
all right. Yeah, then not even that. He's just way too quiet. So hopefully it's just that he's down in the dumps. He's trying to evaluate his play. He's trying to, you know, work on himself. I don't know. I'm just trying to stay positive, but at the same time, I know like he's not. If he doesn't want the field time, let's get like Noah Allen or some of the youth players out there. Let's just get him some experience. Run somebody else out for a little bit. It worked well when we ran out Leo for Gonzalo. So yeah, we can see what we got going on with that.
That's crazy with Yedlin because I think he was called up with the U.S. team and will be with U.S. against Mexico. So you're kind of hoping he probably doesn't return for the game this weekend in time. you know, obviously you want Calendar to
Well,
return in time.
yeah. I will pay for the express expedited return of Calendar ASAP because Nick Marsman has enjoyed the retirement life at Inter Miami too. But with Yedlin, yeah, I mean, as much as I want to bench him, we will need him because there are some kids that are almost there, but they're not readily available to go a full 90 against an MLS side. So
Well, speaking of the MLS side, Dynamo, we're hosting y'all this weekend at 7:30 Central Time, and what we like to call the Orange Ovens or Shell in the Hell, since we renamed our stadium this year and renovated and all that good stuff. What what style are you expecting Miami to bring on a road game? Y'all are in a 5-game losing streak, only scoring 2 goals in those 5 games. Both of those come in against Chicago at home, so you're trying to find what is it, the camaraderie of the team. What style, what are you expecting, formation, what are you expecting from this game this weekend?
So it really depends on two things. One, are we going to have our new CDM fully signed to the contract? His name's Dixon Arroyo. He came from CS Emelec, I believe, in Argentina. I apologize if that is incorrect. And then obviously Miller, as we've already spoken to. If that's the case, we're going to see Arroyo start with Miller most likely in backfield. We'll probably run the three in the back, like we previously mentioned. If not, I could see us almost going the back five. I hate to say that, but we are in such shambles right now that we're not even sure what we're gonna like. What are we gonna do with Duke being gone? We'd most likely see a back five. You know, Negri, McVeigh, Sergey, and probably Mabika and Yedlin. And then in the midfield, you'd probably see Mota Pizarro and I don't know, probably Robbie Taylor, maybe somebody, or maybe Stefanelli. And then it could be anybody. You could just roll the dice up top. We're gonna, yeah, we're gonna try and we're probably gonna try and scrape a point out away from you guys. I see Phil getting too excited in the match, pushing the tactics, changing them up. So you guys will probably pip three from us most likely, because he's not been a fantastic game manager as of late. Um, I mean, I wish I could give you guys a better idea, but right now it is so crazy to even think about what we're doing from a day-to-day basis with all the injuries and all the changes in the player personnel that I couldn't even begin to tell you. Just
Yes.
look back at the past three games and look at all the formation changes we've had and all the personnel changes we've had from day to day.
So you're kind of in the same boat as you. We're still trying to find an identity. Ben Olsen knows what he wants to do, and he's out there trying to perform it. But it looks like y'all are a little bit behind that realm, where you're just still trying to find some kind of identity. If you watched our game yesterday, or if you never watched the game yesterday, please don't press us and do it as a unit, because we literally felt like we got our butts handed to us yesterday, and somehow we scraped a friggin' point out. We are at home. We haven't given up a goal in 3 games at home to start this season, so we're feeling real confident at home. If y'all are going to sit back with the back five, that's going to favor us at the same time. So y'all are not a counter-attacking team. Y'all are going to try to be possessive and work your way out of the back, I assume, which means we'll probably press y'all in return.
Again, that really depends on the week. We have had phenomenal full team press. We have had phenomenal possession. It just it depends on what Phil decides to pull out, and he almost goes to his computer and hits a randomizer, and then says, "Okay, that's what we're doing this week."
The magic 8 ball.
So yeah. But I will tell you, like some of the losses we've had, we've played much better than the opponent. It's just we got beat out when we were pressing, or we got a ball played behind when we were trying to sit back. So, like I said, it really just depends on what Phil thinks about this week and who's available, who's not.
Yeah,
How
real.
so? Recently with us, we're very confident in our midfield with Achi and looking like he's 24 again right now with us. Coco Karskia and then Arthur, who we got from Columbus, just holding it down in that CDM. We hear Houston saying we've got one of the best midfields in the MLS. How are you feeling about your midfield taking on our midfield? And I know again, you have so many intangibles to answer that question.
I would put your midfield above ours right now, by a country mile, most likely. It's we do have the pieces, but right now we don't have the glue to keep those pieces together. As we already talked about Pizarro, we talked about Stefanelli.
Yeah.
Sean Mota has been pulling the strings. Before last week, I believe he was second in passes, in accurate passes in the MLS, second in pass attempts, and I want to say like fourth in pass accuracy, something like that in the MLS. So he's trying, he's moving, but we don't have that glue to make it work right now. So we have good players. We just don't, like I said, we don't have that one piece to keep them all together.
I think for us, the way we look at it here in Houston, given your recent form, and we're at home, we ought to win this game. Ben Olsen has done a good job at making this team defend very well, for sure. That's one of the trademarks that he's instilled early on in this new regime. But me personally, I'm also of the belief, this is why this game's going to be super interesting to me, that your stars, the game can be going to crap, but Joseph just needs one chance, and and he can bury it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not taking this game lightly. Like, you got ballers on the field. Maybe they're not playing 100% chemistry right now, but that will come. But I'm not taking this game for granted one bit.
The one thing that you guys have going against you right now is Campana had a week off
Mhm.
to get ready for this match. He came back from injury, rushed out there. I think it was 65 minutes, and now he had a full week on top of what's left of this upcoming week to be ready. We are praying that he comes back into full form. He is I mean, he's a baller. We love him. We love Leo. We will just want him to get back out there and do Leo things. And I would say real quick, not to go back to something we already talked about, but some of the biggest struggles Inter Miami has had too. We're trying to play Leo ball with Joseph. Leo is a tall striker that can get in the box, hit it with his head, hit it with whatever part of his body, and put it in. Joseph's not that guy, and hopefully with Leo coming back, it'll start the ball rolling, no pun intended, towards bigger and better things for the team. So, I personally would love to see him score a hat trick against Houston. I would love for him just to re-announce himself to the league. I don't think that's going to happen though, because we have way too much. I see you, OSG. I see you, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, that's the one thing that has held our team together is our defense with Teenage Adabi, Ethan Bartlow, and then Steve Clark. We know he's 37 or 38, whatever he's been playing. Yesterday he played great, but those Ethan Bartlow and Teenage Adabi has stepped it up this year, and they've been just playing excellent soccer. And like I said, we haven't given up no goals at home this season. Arthur being the CDM, forming that triangle, that defensive triangle, not letting nothing through. So if we're going to come into form this game, it's definitely going to be hard for Miami. But like Herman said, there's definitely a lot of parity in the league, and you gotta come out and you gotta play soccer. You never know know what's going to happen. Yesterday, we did not expect to get our butts handled to us by NYRB, and that's exactly what happened. We scored goal first and then gave up one late, ended up with a point. So we were happy with that. But you never know what's going to happen. That's the point of playing the game, and we'll just see what happens. Who brings their A game?
I mean, that was like us against the Union. Jay and I were talking. We were like, "Yeah, we're not going to beat the Union." I mean, the Union have one of the top to bottom best rosters out there. And all of a sudden, the first goal went in, and we're like, "Oh, all right, well, hey, we're in it." And then the second goal went in, and I'm texting him like, "We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Oh my God, we're going to do this." And you know what? I'm hanging on to that joy because I haven't had much after that. I think I still have the photo saved where we were on top of the league in my phone. I just look back at that every once in a while because it'll never happen again. So
Life is all about
Not
those small moments of joy, Dan. That's what life's about, dude.
yes,
Enjoy those.
yes, but also to quote Ted Lasso, and I say it every single Inter Miami podcast episode. It's the hope that
It's
kills
the
you.
hope, dude. It's the hope.
well.
Yep.
All right, so Herman, you have any last questions you'd like to ask Dan before we
No,
let him roll out?
No, I would love to, but no, our time is up. I'm gonna set it up for you so you can take us home, OSG. Dan, just want to say thank you. This was fun, and when we hopefully, I do want to make the trip out there someday, sometime in the future, when we play y'all over there. So maybe we can catch up, Fort Lauderdale or Miami, wherever. But
It's
thank you.
Fort Lauderdale, isn't it?
Yeah, just let us know. We'll roll out the red carpet for you. We'll have a good old
That's what I'm
time. And
talking about.
for the foreseeable future, it's Fort Lauderdale, but we just started tearing down that golf course for Miami Freedom Park, baby.
Yeah, I wanted to ask
ready.
you about
Oh,
that.
no.
We're getting ready.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yep.
That's good.
Hey,
That's
well,
good. Thank you.
that works out perfect because I'm a part of a supporters group here in Houston, the Surge, probably right here in the background somewhere over my shoulder right there. We're going to St. Louis this year, checking out the brand new stadium. So maybe once Miami gets it and we're happen to be on your schedule, that'll be the time when we come out and we get to hang out and enjoy. I was there for the Barcelona Real Madrid. That friendly that was there 4 years ago, and that was just friggin' 4 or 5 years ago now. That was friggin' fun. Can you put the airport in Miami instead of Fort Lauderdale? So I have to drive 45 minutes to wherever y'all are going to be at now. But
Yeah, just fly into Fort Lauderdale Airport. Don't go to Miami.
Spirit.
You'll be that much closer. Yeah, Spirit. You know what's up.
I'm holding for dear life, but I'm getting there, dude.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, good deal, Dan. Like Herman said, thank you for showing up today and having a good talk with us. I always encourage fans to go listen to the opponent's podcast after we play them, just to hear the opponent's perspective, because it's always different than what ours is, and maybe makes us help some sense to what happened in the game, whether we win, lose, or draw. So, as you close us out, or as we head out, tell us where people can find your podcast, how to get a hold of it, where you're at, and if you have any final words, any shout outs you'd like to give, please do.
Yeah, so absolutely. You can find us on Twitter at InterMIA Podcast and on Instagram at Inter Miami Podcast. We actually rolled out, I think, 3 new podcasts this year. We have the Traveler Chats, IMCF Traveler, I apologize. He's one of our inside sources with the club. He travels all over with the team. He's been a phenomenal resource. We brought out Freedom to Scream. That is a podcast that allows the fans to speak their mind openly, let us know what's on their mind. And then we have Away Days, which hopefully you guys can be on one of these days. Away Days is our Inter Miami group by Brayton and Callie that they discuss the cities that we're going to, possible venues of interest for the fans going out, the team, the history, the city's history. So it's been a pretty busy year for us. So yeah, please come over, check us out, let us know what you like, let us know what you don't like, and we'll listen openly and probably ignore all your negative comments and just listen to the positive ones.
Sounds.
But no, I appreciate you guys. I do appreciate you guys. It's always fun talking to you. It's always a good time. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. Good luck this weekend. And vamos Miami.
Well, with that said, it's always H's up. And Herman, you always like to add in those nice 2 words.
Hold it down or go Dynamo. I don't know which one.
For forever orange. All right, throw those H's up, guys.